Hey, how you doing? So, the script that Henry put down in place, that we can use and all you have it, and then you would ask them if they will be opposed to receiving an offer on the property, if we can find you, if we can give you an offer, what is the best number, so on and so forth. But you go through the whole regimen, and then from there I would come to, once you get those enough properties that's warmed up, I will come in to close on them, right, on the back end. And then on the front end, this is where Nigel, you're crucial, that while I've been working with you a lot is we're going to be prospecting what we have. So right now we have about five or so buyers. Like, you remember those leads, the buyers that we have right now? You have that note in front of you? You said what? Do you have that note of the buyers that I was saying to you? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, all right. Hold on one second, I can't. All right, I'm back. Thank you. You got it? Yes. Okay, so who are the buyers that we have so far? 'Cause I gotta add some more as well. And Joel, I need you to add. I think Joel have a list of buyers that we gotta add on there. And Ikea and Mario, I'm gonna give you guys my login so you guys can share that login. It's Murphy Oil, Black Diamond, Home Dentures, Almond, eggs, and that's it. Okay, eggs, and then we gotta put felt on there. Felt, because he's looking to buy up some stuff. All right, and then Joel, we have like two other names that's on there as well. I don't remember off the top of my head that I've got some calls from there. What's that? That's one of the names. One of the names is Ron Williams. Who? I'm sorry. Ron Williams. Oh, yeah, yeah. Williams. Yeah. He's one, and then also too, I have associate Hamid. I got Hamid, that guy there. He's looking at the defensive money. So, and then uh, we have a couple other people. So basically, all those guys are mainly retail focused, meaning commercial properties. So general commercial, retail property focus. So as we get other buyers that start dominating more, then we'll focus on that. But as I mentioned to you guys before, we're going to be focusing. Henry's been busting my chops a little bit. He's like, Joe, you need to turn it up a little bit. I know I tell people, he's like, I know I tell people 2 to 20 million, but you can crush it between 20 and 5, and you could definitely do 3 and 20, right? So I got one now potentially that's a $20 million deal. Wait, no, I'm sorry, it's a $10 million deal. So I'm gonna up it up to between 10 and 10, but 3 million to 10 million. But I can definitely go up to 20 million if the opportunity presents itself. So those gonna be properties I'm going after. Now again, that don't mean that I won't go down to 2 million. I won't go down to below that, because if it's a family friend or somebody along those lines that makes sense, then yes. But I have to have you all start focusing between the 3 and 10, because right now the problem that I have is what a lead gen. That's my problem. So what I realize is why my money ebbs and flows is because I don't have enough leads on the front end. So the leads will always keep the flow of money coming in. Make sense? Yeah. Okay? So, in other words, as long as I know that I have leads in the pipeline, I would never be broke. The company will never be lacking money because because we know that the supply and demand there's always people needing to sell. How do I get in front of those people that need to sell? And I'll in turn have the buyers through me or through us, through the organization, be ready to go because we're always in front of the sellers that need to sell. So it's always getting the right audience because there's always a need for people to sell, and there's always a need for people to buy. It's always going to be that. So as long as we, as organizations, stay in front of that, then there should be no issue. So this is why it's a group effort, but it's also a system. So when I have Nigel's workflow will be prospecting because rec is going to be one part of it, Nigel, but also the site to do business is going to be RPR. There's other platforms that I'm going to start showing you and training you to how to process. Okay, I can't just give it to you all at one time. I got to layer it. You get familiar with how to do it with rec. Then when I add in the other ones, you'll know how to do it with that, and then you'll know how to data mine for information. So if I text you an address, if you can't find it on rec, you can go to Craigslist, and you can go to IDI, or you can go to site. So you can get all the information you need from who owned it, who last owned it, and who all owned it in the past from the time the property was incepted and it had a parcel ID number. You'll be that good at it, and then you'll be able to, okay, all right, the property is worth X. So now, this is where a virtual assistant come into play, because I don't want to dump all that on you, Nigel. So the virtual assistant would work and keep everybody in check when it comes to the requirement and follow-up, right? So the virtual assistant that I'll put into play would be, okay, hey, we need to get a value on this property. Okay, so we flip it to them. They'll flip it back and email it to the appropriate people that need to flip it to email it to. We need LOI drafted up. Okay, boom, we can flip it over. They can do it. Agreements, listed agreements, whatever, we can flip it to them. They fill out and they send it out and make it all happen. So that way, the business work gets done effortlessly. So, and at Nigel, you and I will be working closely a lot on how to do that. So, it'll probably take you to 4 to do all that, and then it'll get easier and easier where it probably goes down to about 4 hours a day. And then Joel, all you'll have to do, you, Jeremiah, whoever else, I'll be doing it too as well. Be making phone calls to these properties that Nigel has from the day before prospect, and then we're turning them into soft leads. So we're going to be able to have 3 leads a day and generating offers in the afternoon. So I come in, try and do the offers, putting them out there. So now the offers are getting put out there by the regular. So we put 15 offers a week, right? So let's just say, what we said was, 21? 21 a week, right, Nikki? On the phone basis?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's 21, and the goal would be to try to have 15 offers out. And then, out of 15, maybe 2 make it off, they'll accept it, maybe less, who knows. But then, we got that machine, we got that that system going. So now it gets to a point where we have, let's just say we get 1 or 2 deals accepted a month, right? But let's say if it's 2, let's say if it's, we perfected it, we're fine doing it, then if we get 2 to 3 a month, now we really do have a machine going, and it's just flowing. It's just flowing. Everybody's doing their part. Not everybody taking on 1 too many fights at one time, and no one's feeling overwhelmed. So the biggest thing is not for everybody to feel overwhelmed. That's the purpose of having a system. Y'all follow?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be working on the script. Nakia and I will be working on perfecting the script for you, Margaret. And Joel, you and I will be working on the scripts that are going to be the best ones we can combine with, and we need to memorize it and role play it, so that way you feel comfortable on the phone and don't worry about the first Don't worry about the first 100 phone calls. You're gonna fuck it up anyway. That's perfectly fine. You just get all the bugs, you get better and better, and then you go from there, right? And Jeremiah get on board with it, and he'll get to understand it, etc. I'll be doing the calls myself. I'll be doing everything from A to Z. But eventually, it'll be you all start running the plays on those front ends. And at night, the moment you start feeling overwhelmed, you let me know so that way I can, either plug in the next person in to take care of it because I need this is like the acquisition end of things. In the disposition, I'll have to get a disposition side of it where, okay, I got somebody, they're working about selling the different properties or the different necessary stuff. And then on the brokerage side, Margaret, that's not going to be an issue when it comes down to phone calls to receive because you'll answer them, because people will call back. You'll be calling people to introduce them to the services we do, and then you take it from there. Now, ideally, I want to be able to have everybody a base salary and then, bonuses. But for now, until I get the business to roll up, I'm giving everybody a percentage of the deal. All right? So, it'll be 20, 25% of the deal initially, and then I'll get it to where it's based, and that way, regardless of if we put a deal together this month or that month, it doesn't matter if the base pay would be consistent. So that's how I'm doing it right now to build it all up, and then take it there. So anybody have any questions thus far?
So the virtual assistant, that's gonna be an actual person?
Yeah, the virtual assistant will be an active person that'll be doing like the back end work as far as like paperwork, how to do the cost analysis, how to do analyzing the property. Like every single one of us needs to know how to analyze a property to begin with, but like the back of the napkin and how to price per square footage. But the person that will be just doing it, they'll just okay, cool. For them, because as we get to prospect the property, and then especially on Black Diamond side, you guys should know how to do it to analyze the property to know how much the property worth. So if someone says, "Oh, I want $10 million for the property," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, okay, buddy, but the property is really worth $2 million." Or let's flip it around. "Oh, I want $10 million, but the property is worth $12 million." Like, "Oh, okay, great, that's a deal, right?" So it's like, okay, well, let's figure, let's see if it's really a deal. These are the costs. These are the expenses. These are the amount that it would cost to get the property up to speed, and then the income that needs to be generated. Now, can it be generating the income, but it's not generating the income because the rents are below market? Yes. Is it generating the income that it's supposed to be, but it can generate higher money because if you add, an extra 2,000 square feet of retail space, or you add point laundry, or you add a snack community bar area, or whatever, then yes, it would exit by blah blah blah. Like, okay, good. It's how you know that you have a deal. So those are the things, just being able to do that, and then having the performer that you can kick in the numbers and be able to make that happen. So those things that I'll show you guys individually with the performer, so that way you guys know, oh, okay, all right, this person talking about this property is probably not worth that. And you can be able to quickly say it in your head, right, without repeating it. But like Joel, for example, Joel will be talking to people like, hey, if I provided you an offer, would you refuse it or not? Not even refuse it, would you consider it? Oh, okay, whatever. But Joel had to be know like, okay, well, this property only brings in $50,000 a year, so it's only worth, I don't know, at 5 cap, 6 cap at best. Okay, this property is worth $800,000 or whatever that number may be, right? So if they want $1.2 million, you already know, okay, but they want too much for the property. But maybe if they had this, and this, it would probably be worth $1.2 million. But right now, it's not. It's only bringing 50,000. Why is it only bringing 50,000? Is it under rent? Oh, okay. Well, the property